बोलो श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की। सब खड़े हो जाइए आरती के लिए। श्री राम श्री रामचंद्र बोलो सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की, पवन सुत हनुमान की। प्रीतम प्यारी एक मुक्त राजे एक सूरज कवि खाजे दोनों खाजे चांद गज पान लाड की यमुना तटस्थित वृंदावन कानने मारण्ये कल्पद्रुमतल भूमौ चरणं चरणो रविसाख्यं विशन्तं गणनीयं स्वदेशसा भासयन्तमिह विश्वम् पीताम्बरपरिधानम् चन्दनकर्पूरलिप्तसर्वाङ्गम् पूर्णनेत्रम् कुण्डलयुगमण्डितश्रवणम् मन्दस्मितमुखकमलम् वलया तुरीयकाद्या नुज्ज्वलयन्तं स्वलङ्कारान् प्रलवितुलितवनमालम् स्वदेशसा पावसकलिकालम् गुञ्जालवारिकलितं गुञ्जान्विते शिरसि गुञ्जानं सह भूतैः गुञ्जान्तर्वर्तिनं नमत मन्दारपुष्पवासित मन्दारसेवित परानन्दम् मन्दारकीयुतपदम् नमत महानन्दनं महापुरुषम् सुरभिकृतदिग्वलयम् सुरभिशतैरावृतः परितः सुरभिवृक्षफलमः
बोलो वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की, श्री रासेश्वरी राधा रानी की, जगत गुरु श्री कृपालु जी महाराज की, श्री राधा गोविंद धाम की जय जय श्री राधे जय जय Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shreya, Shreya, Shreya. You can play Dolak also with jazz. Where's Sagar? Sagar? Nahi bajao. If anyone wants to come closer to Ram and Lakshman and all the Bandar, all the Banar, you're welcome to come and have darshan, have a closer darshan. This is the Shara celebration. You don't need to be formal. Just anytime throughout the program, just come on up in front anytime you want to. Guys, move your microphones up. Raghavendra Sarkar ki साकेत बिहारी श्री राघवेंद्र सरकार की। रोहित माइक्स को बंद करना है ना। राहुल आता है क्या? किसी को आता है? Turn all the other mics on. Radhe Radhe everyone. So we've been, and I think this number 6 you can turn up a little, Ashwin. We've been having Ram Katha for the last 10 days. This is the 11th and final day. And we've come to the point where we're in Lanka Kand, and the war between Sri Ram's army, all of his sevaks, all the banners and the bears, versus Ravana and his army. It's about to begin. I'm just going to give you the highlights of each of the days that happened during the war. So on the very first day, as I mentioned yesterday, Ram, taking the advice of his closest counselors like Hanuman, Sugriv, Jamvan, Angad, Nal, Neel, they decided that they would divide the whole army up into 4 brigades, and each of those giant brigades would attack Lanka from a different direction, because there were 4 big gates of Lanka, each one facing a different direction. They sallied forth, and Ravan sent all of his demons out to the top of the wall. They looked like, because the wall was actually golden, so they looked like clouds on all the demons. There were so many of them on top of the wall. It looked like clouds on top of a golden sky. They began fighting. Now on this first day, Ram's army made a lot of progress. And at one point, Jamvant came and he grabbed Meghanad, who's Ravan's most powerful son. And he really got a hold of him and was beating him on the ground like that. But he didn't die because he had a boon that he could only be killed by someone who hadn't slept or eaten for 12 years. So guess who gets to kill him later? So he didn't die, but it was a good message that because they were having a little banter, Meghnad said to Jamvant that, oh, I've let you be until now looking at your age. You're very aged, so that's why I haven't attacked you. So Jamvant let him know that he still had some power left in him. After this, they got very inspired. And both Hanuman and Angad, who had both been in Lanka already and shown their strength, while all the other monkeys and bears were trying to fight and get over the walls, Hanuman and Angad just jumped into Lanka and started smashing things. And all the demons in Lanka said, now both of them have come. First we dealt with the one, then the other. Now both of them are in here. So Tulsidas Ji says both of them looked like Mount Mandar that was used for the Samudra Manthan. So they were just spinning around like this and grabbing demons and throwing them this way, and they both smashed Ravan's palace. Both of them took up a big pillar and just destroyed the whole palace right on the very first day. And whenever they had, although they were tossing demons here and there, but whenever they grabbed hold of a general, they would toss him all the way over to Mount Subail where Ram was watching. And that general would land over there where Ram and Vibhishan were. And Vibhishan would tell Ram the name of that general, and then the general would die and Ram would send him to his divine abode. So in this way, the first day passed. It was not a good day for the demons. It ended, and on the second day, however, something surprising happened. Meghnad came out to fight again, and on this day, he and Lakshman were facing each other. And after a lot of fighting, he hit him in the chest with his javelin, and Lakshman lost consciousness. So they had to figure out now what to do about Lakshman. So Jamvant said there's a great doctor, Sushen, who lives in Lanka, but someone's going to have to go and get him. So they sent Hanumanji. Hanumanji again made himself so small he couldn't be seen, and he went in there and he just picked up, he didn't just bring the doctor back, he picked up the doctor and his house and brought him out to Subail mountain. So the doctor looked at Lakshman, and Ram is very concerned about his brother. But the doctor said, it's okay, there's one Sanjeevani Bhuti, a special plant that grows in Himalaya. So just bring that plant and I'll administer the medicine from that. So they sent Hanumanji with the description of the plant and also the description of the mountain that it's on. So Hanumanji swiftly flew up into Himalaya. Now Ravan found out what was happening, and he went to a demon called Kalanemi. And he said, I want you to use your delusive power. Demons also have a type of maya that they can use to create illusions. So I want you to use your maya, and I want you to do something to confuse Hanuman so that he is unable to bring that herb in time to save Lakshman. Now Kalanemi was also trying to reason with Ravan that, are you serious? the one who opposes, never mind the one who opposes Ram directly, Supreme God, the one who opposes Ram's servant will be struck down. But Ravan wasn't hearing any of it. So Kalanemi, just like Marich had decided in his own mind, he said, if I keep arguing with this fool, he's going to kill me. Better that I die at the hand of Ram's servant. So let me go and follow his orders, and hopefully Hanumanji will kill me. So Kalanemi went up into Himalaya, and Hanumanji is flying over, and he sees this beautiful lake with this rishi sitting there. So, and it's Kalanemi who has taken the form of this saint. So he sees this beautiful lake, and he thinks, "Oh, I'm very tired. Let me go and refresh myself in the lake." He stops and he pays obeisance, not knowing that it's actually a demon. And he says, he asks permission, "Can I have some of your water?" So he just took his little kamandal, his little water pot, and he said, "You can have some of mine." Hanumanji said, "I need a lot more water than that. Can I go in your lake?" So he said, "Okay." Now in the lake, there was an alligator. So as soon as Hanumanji went in the lake, this she alligator grabbed hold of him. But he quickly finished her, and then she was released. She had been cursed. She was actually an Apsara of Swarg. She'd been cursed to take that form. So when she was released, she thanked Hanumanji, and she said, "By the way, that's a demon. He's been sent here to delay you so that you're unable to save Lakshman." So he went back to Kalanemi and just quickly bonked him on the head and went on his way. And Kalanemi got his wish. He got to leave this demon body, and he went into Ram's abode. Kalanemi is given as a famous example of a Dhongi Baba. Dhongi means a poser, right? A pretender. Someone who's not what they are presenting themselves to be. There are so many examples in the world today, from extreme to subtle, but the fact is that all of us who claim to be devotees of God have some Kalanemi in us. We say we're devotees, we want to be devoted, but so on the outside we put a good picture to the world, but actually on the inside we have all the demonic qualities, all the asuri gunas, the greed and jealousy and hatred and fault finding, and all of these demonic qualities we also hold in our heart, and yet we act like saints. Of course, this goes on in a subtle way with all of us, but there are more extreme examples. See, what Kalanemi told Hanumanji was, yes, go and have a drink, and when you come back, I'll give you Diksha. That's what he told him. So, Jagat Guru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj actually spoke about this quite a few times, and in some ways, he was never shy about telling the right thing, even if it made him unpopular. So he used to say that this idea nowadays that people follow, where they go and get Diksha from someone, he says a lot of times people take advantage. The one giving Diksha, the so-called Guruji, may be like a Kalanemi. See, if someone isn't God realized, what can they give us? The Guruji, first of all, has to be God realized, then they can give some divine power. And what is Diksha if not a transfer of divine power? So, for instance, if I were to sit up here and say, yes, I'm going to give you all mantra Diksha, or something like this, I have no power from which to do that. And even if there is a true divine saint who has divine power, the person, the individual, has to be a fit receptacle. Patra hona chahiye. how can the divine power stay in a material mind or a material heart? It's not possible. वो दिव्य शक्ति जो भगवान के पास है, जो संत के पास है, वो माइक अंतःकरण में ठहर नहीं सकता. So the idea of Diksha has to be correctly understood, that first we have to do bhakti to purify our heart, to make our heart patra, to make our heart a fit receptacle, and only then will a true guru be able to give us that divine power, and having received that divine power, we can see God, we can meet God. So there's a process that has to go on, not just, okay, I gave you a mantra, so I gave you Diksha and now you're my disciple. Kripaluji Maharaj used to say that, what did you gain from that? Do you want to just get a pretend shortcut that take this mantra and repeat it and no problem after you die you'll go to Vaikunt or Golok? Or do you want to actually learn the process that you have to follow in order to purify your heart and become qualified to receive God's divine grace? So the true guru shows us the path, doesn't just give us a mantra and say, bas ho gaya, now I'll meet you in Golok. This Kalanemi is an example. We said, okay, you go and have a drink, and when you come back, I'll give you Diksha. But on the inside, he was a demon, right? So there are many false gurus in the world who are only looking out for their own self-interest. And people not knowing the secret of Diksha think that, oh, I'll just go to him and get a mantra, and that's all I need to do for my spiritual advancement. But it's not true. So anyway, Hanumanji finished this episode with Kalanemi, and he went and he found the spot where this Sanjeevani Bhuti was supposed to be, but he wasn't exactly certain that, I know this is the right mountain, but what if I bring the right plant back and then I have to come all the way back again? Better to just bring the whole mountain. So he lifted the whole mountain and brought it back to where Sri Ram and Lakshman were. So he arrived, the doctor found the right herb, administered the medicine. Now, on the way back, another incident happened. Hanumanji is flying, carrying this mountain. He's coming from Himalaya, and he happened to pass over Ayodhya. And Bharat saw him and thought, there's this huge dark form flying in the air. Bharat never used to sleep either. He used to guard Ayodhya the whole night. So he fired his arrow and he hit Hanumanji, not knowing who it was. Hanumanji fell unconscious on the ground. And before he lost consciousness, he was saying, "Hi, Mere Ram, oh Ram," and then he fell unconscious. So then Bharat said, "Oh my goodness, this is a devotee of my brother Ram. What have I done?" So then he prayed to Ram, and he said, "If I am your servant, then please bring him back to consciousness." And Hanumanji immediately regained consciousness. And they talked a little. Bharat asked, "How's my brother doing?" Hanumanji briefly told him the story, and Bharat was very concerned. So he said, go, fast. He said, "Just ride my arrow." And he shot another arrow, and Hanumanji rode on that the whole way back. Ram was worried now because it's past midnight, and Hanumanji hasn't come yet because he got delayed by Kalnemi and by Bharat. So Ram starts lamenting that if I lose my brother, what was the sense of all of this? What is the world going to say about me if I wasn't even able to protect my own brother? But then Hanumanji came, and as soon as the herb was administered, Lakshman sits up and laughs. And that was it. So this was the big episode that happened on day 2. On day 3, Ravan by then had suffered so many losses, he decided it's time to wake up Kumbhakarna. So he went, and through all kinds of efforts and measures, they were able to wake him up finally, because actually it was early for him to wake up. but they had to bring him out of that sleep so he could fight. He had no idea what had happened with this whole episode of Ravan kidnapping Sita and everything that had happened after that. He had no clue. Ravan told him the whole story, and Kumbhakarna did one of these.
What?
Like, what's the matter with you? Purvameva maya prokta Ramo Narayano Hari Sita cha yoga mahiti bodhitopi na buddhaye. Brother, I have been telling you, I told you before, Ram is none other than Narayan. He is Supreme God, and Sita is his Yogamaya Shakti. How could you have done such a thing? This is going to be the death of all of us. Of course, Ravan could not even be convinced then. So Kumbhakarna said, Mera kya jata hai? Ladata hu unse. I'm a warrior, what else will I do? Let me go and fight with Ram. But he held Ram in his heart. He had devotion to Ram in his heart. So today Kumbhakarna came out. He was as huge as a mountain. And he was just picking up demons, picking up monkeys right and left, 20 in each hand, and throwing them this way and that way. And although all the great warriors like Hanumanji and Angad and Jamvan, they all came and fought with Kumbhakarna, but none was able to kill him. So here on day 3, Kumbhakarna got to meet his divine beloved Ram. And Ram, with his arrow, cleaved Kumbhakarna's body in two, and as soon as that happened, a light came out of Kumbhakarna's body and entered into Ram. So Kumbhakarna merged into Ram. Looks like we need to make a little bit more room. So drummers, you're fine. Don't you guys move. But if everybody else can squeeze up, try to fill in all the spaces. Now on day 4, the main highlight is that Meghnad, when he came out to fight, he used his serpent arrows again, the ones that had tied up Hanumanji. And with those arrows, he was able to tie up Bhagwan Ram. So Ram was tied up with those serpent arrows and he's lying helpless. Nobody knew what to do. Jamvan picked up Meghnad and just tossed him back into Lanka, got rid of him. Naradji knew what to do. He was watching the whole thing. So he sent Garudji. Garudji is the enemy of all the snakes. All the snakes are afraid of him. So Garudji came and he immediately chased off those snakes and Ram was fine. But then Garud had a doubt enter his mind. He said, how is it that the one whose name breaks all the bondages, just by chanting his name, a person can eliminate all their bondages? He was bound by some insignificant arrows, snake arrows. Impossible. Shri Ram was God. So with this doubt, he went to Kagbhushundi. Kagbhushundi is also a great devotee of Bhagwan Ram. And Garudji said to him, please, help me remove this doubt from my mind. Of course, Kagbhushundi said that, I know you really don't have any doubts. You're just setting an example for the world. Set the wrong example on purpose, so that we learn also what not to do. So Garudji, with one thought, became completely cut off from his devotional feelings to God. This is what happens to us. When we start doubting in God, we start having pratikul chintan, negative thoughts towards God. It cuts our connection with God, and we're no longer able to experience His grace or our devotional feelings. So even though we may not be able to understand all of God's actions, it's very important not to ever look upon Ram, Krishna, any avatar of Bhagwan with any kind of negative thinking. We have to control our mind and be disciplined about understanding where are we supposed to apply our mind to understand philosophy, like what is the soul, what is the soul's relationship to God, what is the path to God. In these things we can apply our mind, but we cannot apply our intellect in trying to analyze and understand the reasons for God's actions. This is a big mistake. Tulsidas ji says Ram is playing the part of a man, and although he's supreme God, he's doing all of these things to spread his glory in the world, and also to spread the glory of his devotees. Excuse me. So on this day, Meghnad also decided he's going to perform a yajna to become invincible. So he went and hid himself to do this. But Vibhishan told Ram what was happening. So Ram sent Lakshman and told him, go and disturb his yajna and also kill him. So Lakshman went, and even though Meghnad had been the one who had knocked Lakshman unconscious on day 2, Lakshman successfully disturbed his yajna and also killed Meghnad. This was on day 4. So when Ravan and Mandodari heard that now all of their sons have been killed, they felt very sad. And all the citizens, whoever was left in Lanka, they felt very sad also, and they started accusing Ravan, like, you fool, you'll be the death of all of us. Look what you've done. So Ravan, ye to sab nashwar hai. Oh, this is all just temporary. Everything in this material world is only for a short time. So Tulsidas ji says, see, even Ravan is giving such good to his people, but there's a big difference between someone who can explain something and someone who actually follows it. So anyone who's giving lectures about God, if they're not God realized, they have a little bit of Ravan inside of them. I can sit up here and tell you, remember your identity is the soul. Your only happiness is in God. Worldly happiness and worldly things are only temporary, and yet I'm still attached in the world. And I also forget that I'm a soul and that only God is mine. I'm just like Ravan. So now day 5, the morning of day 5 came, and there was no one left. Ravan had to come and enter the fight. So Ravan came and started fighting against Ram. Ravan, of course, has 10 heads and 20 arms, and Ram was repeatedly, again with his arrows, cutting off his heads and cutting off his arms, but his heads would immediately come back and his arms would immediately come back. This went on for the whole day, day 2. So Sita got word of this. She's in Ashok 1, and the demonesses who are waiting on her, they are getting the news and telling it to Sita. So Trijata is telling Sita that all of this is happening. Ram keeps cutting off his heads and his arms, but they keep coming back. So Sita said, how is this going to end? When is it going to end? This doesn't sound good. How's Ram going to defeat him? Trijata said, don't worry. See, what's going to happen? The reason that Ram is unable to kill him so far, Ravan holds you in his heart. And you hold Ram in your heart. And within Ram's belly is the whole endless universe containing unlimited number of Brahmans. So if he were to shoot his arrow, the second it killed Ravan, the whole universe would instantly perish. He hasn't killed him yet, but don't worry. That he's going to cut off all his heads and arms at once, which will momentarily distract him and he'll forget you just for long enough. So Sita ji felt comforted. Also at this time, Vibhishan was counseling Ram and telling him that Ravan also has in his navel mortality. He has Amrit there. Why his heads keep growing back and his arms keep growing back. So you have to suck up that he's not going to die. So the next day Ram went out and he fired 31 arrows at the same time. One arrow sucked out all the Amrit from his navel, 10 of them in heads, and 20 of them his 20 arms, all simultaneously. And in that instant, just for a moment, he forgot Sita, shot an arrow right through his heart. Now, remember from the first couple days when I was explaining about Ravan, that he is no ordinary being and he's no regular demon. Ravan is saying before he went out to fight with Ram, he's saying, Smritva smritva tadevaham Ramam pashyami sarvatah. Ram, I can only think of you, smritva smritva tadevaham. I can only think of you. And everywhere I look, I only see you. Param Brahma Sanatanam. And I know that you are the eternal, supreme Lord. So Ravan knew in his heart who Ram was. Itham vichintya khilarakshasendro viditva parameshwaram harim virodha buddhyaiva harim prayami na bhaktya bhagavan prasidet. Adhyatma Ramayana. Ravan is saying that, Ram, I know you are supreme God and I am wholly devoted to you. But I have been given this demon body. I'm going to please you by fighting against you. I will please you more quickly. Drutam. Yeah. I could not please you this quickly by doing devotion to you as I'm going to please you by fighting against you. Because this is all part of Ram's Leela. It's all to spread Ram's name, Ram's gunas, Ram's fame throughout the world, so that Soi gunagai bhagat bhavatarahi kripa sindhu hit janhit tanudharahi. This is why Ram does all of these leelas. So here on this last day of the war, Ravan was killed by Ram. Of course, Ravan immediately entered into Ram's divine abode. And Jagat Guru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj says, Jai Shri Ram. ऐसे आई मार के
सही बानर है।
ये तो हनुमान जी है। So Jagat Guru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj says, when Ravan was leaving and entering Ram's divine abode, Saket Lok, so Ram, that you think you won, but I've won because you're still on earth and I'm entering your divine abode before you. So Ravan was a great divine personality who just did devotion to Ram by playing the villain in his Leela, but he actually belongs in the divine world. So today when we do Ravan Dahan, we're not doing it out of enmity to Ravan. We respect Ravan as a divine personality, but we are doing it as a way of remembering Ram's Leelas. That on this day, Ravan, the ultimate thing, he was sent to Ram's divine abode by him. Is the 10th day after the new moon. It's the 10th day of the Shukla Paksh, the waxing moon. And on this very day, Ram had killed Ravan and sent him to his divine abode. So as soon as this happened, Ram sent Hanumanji to go and deliver the news to Sita. That now Ravan's been killed, but just hold on. So Hanumanji went, delivered the news, came back with news for Ram that Sita is still okay. Then they sent Angad and Sugriv, Angad and Vibhishan, to go and bring Sita ji, to bring her to Mount Subail where Ram was. So she started out sitting in a palanquin, those like the two bars and people hold it and then just carry her palaki. Yeah. So Sita ji was coming through Lanka. Of course, now they've overrun Lanka. There's monkeys and bears everywhere. And they're carrying her through Lanka and all the way out to Mount Subail. But the monkeys were creating such a ruckus because they wanted to have darshan of Sita Mata, but there were guards all around on either side of the palki, so they couldn't get a proper view. So it was really creating almost like a stampede. So Ram said, wait, request Sita to walk so all the Banners can have darshan of her and then they'll calm down. So then Sita ji walked and all the monkeys and bears were happy. They received the treasure of their life to have darshan of Sita ji as she walked. Now, at this point, as I mentioned earlier in the week, Ram had Sita go into the fire. And the reason given was that, oh, we have to test her purity. But you know, because I told you earlier in the week, that Tulsidas ji reveals this secret, that before Sita even got abducted, Ram had told her that until all the demons are killed, stay with Agni Dev. So she went with Agni Dev. In other words, she entered the fire and Agni Dev protected her and kept her for the whole time that this Leela was happening. And only Chaya Roop Sita ji, a shadow form of Sita, was kidnapped by Ravan and went through this whole thing in Ashokman. So Ram now wanted the real Sita back. So he sent Chaya Roop Sita ji into the fire and real Sita was delivered in person by Agni Dev. So then Sita and Ram were reunited. And Ram instructed Lakshman to perform the coronation ceremony of Vibhishan. He had already, when Vibhishan came to him on the beach, he had already put the tilak, the mark of a king, on his forehead at that time. Vibhishan had said, I have no desire for anything, but Ram said, well, you've come to me and anyone who comes to me gets something. So I'm giving you this. You're going to be the king of Lanka. So now Vibhishan began to rule Lanka, and Ram knew that he had to get back to Ayodhya now, because Bharat also had a limited time to stay alive. Everyone knew that if Ram was late coming back from his 14 years in exile, that Bharat would not remain in his body. So now they had to get ready to go back. And Ram requested from Vibhishan that, figure out some way for us to get back very quickly. So they had Indra's Pushpak Viman, a celestial chariot, and they all went into Pushpak Viman and headed back to Ayodhya. But of course, the getting back to Ayodhya part is a story for Diwali day, because that's when that happened. So that's why today we'll be ending this Ram Katha here at the end of Lanka Kand. There's another Kand in the Ramayana, the Uttar Kand, which has a lot of excellent and very high philosophy in it, but we'll also save those for another day. So here on the Shara day, we finish this Ram Katha. And I'll just finish with these words, that all of the Leelas of Shri Ram are a treasure for the devotees. So treasure those Leelas in your heart. Never question in Ram's actions. Know that he is Supreme God and he is supremely kind and gracious. Have faith in him. And instead of applying your intellect, apply your heart. In other words, open up your heart. Remember Ram's Leelas, remember his name, remember his form, and thereby you'll purify your heart. And when you become qualified, you can actually have the divine vision of Shri Ram. You can have a place like Hanumanji, Sugriv, Angad, Vibhishan, the Nishad, Guha. You can also have a place in Ram's divine family. You can be with him. But for that, we have to do bhakti and reach that state of purification so that we become qualified. So to do bhakti, it's very simple. Remember his form, remember his leelas, and chant his name. So we'll spend a few minutes now chanting his name, and after that, we'll offer the bhog and perform the Ravan Dhan. We'll have to turn all the other mics on. Sitaram, Sitaram, Sitaram. Sitaram, Sitaram, Oh, wait, the fan. बोलो राघवेंद्र सरकार की, बोलो सियावर रामचंद्र की. Before we offer the bhog, I'll just make a couple of announcements, and then we'll offer bhog, and we'll go outside and do Radha and Dham. Can you bring the loudspeaker down? It's in the classroom on the cupboard. It's charging. Just to inform you about some upcoming programs. Today we're celebrating Sharad Purnima here, which is a special day because it's the birthday of Jagat Guru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj, and it's also the day that Shri Krishna and Radharani did Maharas. So we celebrate Sharad Purnima by chanting up until midnight because Maharas happened at midnight, and Jagat Guru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj also appeared at midnight. So that's a very special day for us here. This will be this Saturday from 7 p.m. We start like we always do with Aarti, and we'll have Kirtan right up until midnight. And I think that day I'll probably be able to Skype. I'll be in Radha Madhav Dham, but I'll Skype for maybe 10 minutes and give you a little talk about Sharad Purnima. The day after Sharad Purnima, we're hosting a health fair, a free health fair here at Radha Govind Dham. We've had quite a few of these before. So if you want to come and get screened for diabetes, sugar, have heart screening, have dental screening, there will be someone to give advice on mental health here as well. There will also be free flu shots. So that's this coming Sunday, starting at 10 a.m. It's 10 till 2, but there's only a limited number of free flu shots, so come early so that you can get them before they run out. And then 2 weeks after this weekend, of course, will be Diwali. We'll be celebrating Diwali on Saturday, October 29th. So please definitely come and join us. Bring a diya if you'd like when you come. You can bring your own diya. We'll also be lighting some crackers out on the sidewalk afterwards. And of course, we'll be doing lots of Ram Kirtan on that day because that is the day that Ram and Sita actually returned to Ayodhya. So, oh, and the other announcement is the next time I will be visiting Radha Govind Dham will be after New Year's. We'll have a 1-week program. I'll be giving a talk on Guru Tattva, like what is a true Guru, how do you recognize, how do you benefit from a true Guru. So these are, even if you don't have a Guru or even if you don't want a Guru, these are all good topics to understand at least, because there's a lot of confusion about what a true saint or what a true Guru is. So we'll be talking about all of these topics related to saints and Gurus. That will be January 7th to the 15th. So we have some little reminder notes with those dates on them. And they're available at the reception desk. We can hand those out afterwards. Of course, if anyone wants to sponsor the dinner prasad on either Sharad Purnima or Diwali, you can talk to either Lakshmikant or Manju Ghai about that, and that would be a very auspicious occasion to do that seva. So now, Rahul, please come up.
There's another anonymous. She should also come.
We won't say her name because she's anonymous, but she can come. The dinner prasad sponsors, please come up and offer both.
And I have a small announcement before that. Swamiji would like to thank you on behalf of all from Radha Govind Dham. Please give a big round of applause to Swami for sharing the nectar of Ram Leelas for the last 10 days. We are very indebted to you for that. And so this is the least we can do for you. Whatever today you have to offer for Swamiji doing our seva for the last 10 days, please do not give it to the mandir, but give it directly to Swamiji. We'll have something over there. You can just offer it to Swami Nikhilanand as a token of appreciation for doing such a great seva for the last 10 days. Thank you so much, Swamiji, and thank you. We cannot wait to have you again.
And thanks to all our monkeys and to Ram and Lakshman. It's so hard to get monkeys to sit still for that long. They've been sitting there for an hour and a half. It's amazing.
Oh my God.
They must be really devoted to Ram to be able to sit for that long.
Yeah. Dham, because there's a Ram Katha, so naturally they have to listen.
So let's close the curtains and offer the food. You sing along. ये किसके लिए? श्याम सुंदर की श्री राघवेंद्र सरकार की श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे. So if we can request all of Ram and Lakshman and the Bonners to stay put so that because people are going to come up and take the arti and take prasad. So as you come up, you can also have darshan of this beautiful janki. And once everyone has received prasad, then we can go outside and do the Rama jazz. We'll have to play standing, which we'll have to rig up and hold up something around here. Let's go, Bandi.
स्वामी जी आप प्रसाद